allowed Zolovka to host the baby shower in my house, but she tried to kick me from my own home for a while holiday to impress to my rich friend. I told her husband, and this led to their divorce. Now she is raising a child alone. I'm 32. I've been married for 3 years. With my husband, he's 35. We've been together for 5 years, but now he lives away from home for work. We have long-distance relationship. My husband comes over home through the weekend to spend time together. We have our own house we bought a couple of months ago back, just before his departure. House very beautiful, close to my house parents, so it's convenient for me to visit them, and they me. The house is quite big, and I like it because although I live alone, I like the feeling space. Overall, we have a beautiful house in good area and I like it here to live. When we were arranging the housewarming, received a lot of compliments. Out of all the guests liked my house the most Carey's place. She's 32 years old. She's not stopped admiring him. We didn't particularly close, but were always on good terms relationships. A couple of weeks ago she asked permission to conduct her. I had a baby shower at home and I agreed, without hesitation. Although we are not close to her, she was pregnant and I didn't want her refuse. Besides, I already have a lot. I spend a lot of time alone and I thought that it will be nice to meet new people and change the scenery a little. I even took a day off. Carey explained, who wants to spend the holiday with me because he doesn't want to spend a ton of money to rent a hall, especially when I have such a beautiful house. Her own house, it's also okay, but still not the same beautiful and smaller in size. I think hers the compliments had such an effect on me, so I couldn't refuse, and to be honest, there was no reason to refuse because she was always kind to me. I couldn't even imagine that. We'll continue. Because even during, she didn't hint that I wasn't preparing a particularly welcome guest at this celebration. I was involved in the planning. It's almost every day she came to me for the last 2 weeks for us to discuss menuing decorations. I was involved in organization and even looked forward to this event. I thought it would help we could get closer, but how wrong I was. On the day of the event, I helped the decorator decorate the house about an hour before arriving guests. 45 minutes before the start arrived, Carey thanked me for everything. She behaved absolutely normally, as friend. But 15 minutes before arrival, she suddenly asked the guests where I was. I'm planning to spend the next couple of hours. I was stunned and decided that it's a joke, but it will happen in my house. To go through her baby shower, I was sure. I even dressed up for the holidays accordingly. I bought her a gift. I asked if she was joking and she said with a serious face that no. She gave several quite logical arguments I hadn't thought of. Because I was busy helping. Carey said that I didn't receive an invitation and I wasn't on the guest list. And honestly I noticed it. I just didn't attach importance to it because I believed it goes without saying that I'll be invited and I'll be part of the event. I helped organize it and allowed it host it for free. I think anyone in my place would have thought the same thing. Especially since we didn't have any bad ones relationships. Why would I think that I'm not invited? I told her that, and she replied that she was sorry for misunderstanding. But she thought that I am just helping her as a professional, that it didn't make sense at all because I did an event planner. I work in bank, and it has nothing to do with my profession. In general, I became it's a shame. I think it was obvious from my face. After some time she said that she doesn't want to argue with me because that it's not the time for quarrels, and she doesn't want to be nervous because I'm pregnant. So she said I had to go. Because this event is only for close relatives and friends, that is a very limited circle, and, unfortunately, I'm not in this crowd. She asked, I have to leave before the guests arrive so as not to make a scene because this dispute upsets her. I was very angry and left. I left the room and immediately decided to call my husband and complain about what she did to him, sister. I was in the yard because I knew where else to go and tried call the man. He was busy work and did not respond. He only wrote to me. I was so angry that I decided to do something unconventional and call her husband. Husband Carey Jim, 33, has been with her for 4 years. They've been married for 2 years. I haven't communicated much with him, but he is usually a quiet and reserved person. After she told me to leave my own home, I was very upset and wanted to take revenge on her. So I called him and told him everything. He listened to me and was silent for a long time after my story. I apologized to him for telling me all this, but to me I was very offended by such an attitude. And since I couldn't talk to her, So as not to upset the pregnant woman decided to tell him so that he talked to her. He apologized for her, and I felt a little better. Then he said that I don't need to leave his home. It would be ridiculous and he'll be here soon. I just need wait for his arrival because he is not. I would like it to be between us and scary. A quarrel started and we both got upset. It seemed reasonable to me. I waited 15 minutes until the first guests arrived. Jim came to me. Carrie was shocked when I saw him, and as soon as I heard the doorbell ring, I returned to the house. We, the three of us, were standing in the living room, and Jim said that I can, of course, be present at baby shower and I don't need to leave. Carrie, I tried to object, but he was stern. He looked at her, and she fell silent. She was all the evening threw angry glances at me, and I decided for myself that I would never do that again. Will communicate with her. I even thought about it, cancel the holiday, but didn't because that I put a lot of effort into preparation and didn't I wanted it all to go to waste. Besides, didn't have any after Jim arrived desire to cancel something, and I decided just get through this evening and then stop talking to Carrie. I saved dignity and calm. There's nothing like that about her. I can't say. After finishing baby shower, Jim apologized again for everything, and Carrie didn't even look at me. He and I apologized for this because I received a lot of negativity from her. She believed that I shouldn't have been at the party and what just got in there. It was unpleasant. Even watch it. But at least, it was all over. And when they left, I finally called my husband and explained everything in detail. Told. He was furious and wanted to talk to my sister. But I asked him don't do it at least that evening because it will only make the situation worse and will lead to new quarrels. And I don't need this. I didn't want to at all. I just wanted peace. But it seems that this is not in the cards for me because the very next morning my in-laws called and they were very angry. They said that after the baby shower when Carrie and her husband returned home, they had a huge fight because I told Jim everything. And now he has decided to leave and refuses to talk to Carrie or anyone else from her family, including my in-laws. It was unexpected because, as far as we knew, Jim had great relationship with the wife's family. Their parents were old friends. But after a quarrel, his family blocked them on social media and everywhere at all. I didn't understand at all. What does this have to do with me? But the in-laws and Carrie, they thought that if I had just kept quiet and did as Carrie told, nothing would happen. This didn't happen. I was shocked that they're trying to put the blame on me because it's obvious that Carrie is to blame and I have nothing to do with it. What does that have to do with it? That's why I flared up and said that I'm not going to take the blame. Because I know perfectly well that it is not I'm guilty. This Carrie behaved disgusting because I'm generous, allowed her to hold the party for free at home, and instead of gratitude, she decided to humiliate me by saying that I can attend the event in own home. Because, according to her, in my opinion, I'm not a close enough member family, and I, for a minute, am her wife, brother. I also told them that if my husband were at home, she wouldn't I dared to behave like that. I don't regret that. Told her husband because he was the only sane person in this situation. And if he decided that it was up to him enough and he wants to leave, I'm sure that he does the right thing because I trust his judgment. I don't have to fix anything because I don't think so. I feel guilty and I don't think Jim does wrong. And if he wants divorce, I will support him. I will not then to ask him. So if the in-laws, they call me to talk to him and I've sorted everything out, they're in for a disappointment because I'm not going to do that. After that, I hung up the phone and since then we haven't talked since. But they're trying their best. They are trying to persuade me to talk to Jim. It's been 2 days. I haven't seen them yet. I blocked it, but I'm thinking about it. Because they keep saying that all disagreements are only between me and Carrie and I shouldn't have involved her husband. I don't understand why they do this. Even if it's between me and Carrie, I decided to tell her about it myself, to my husband. He is also a member of the family and I decided, what should he know? I don't think so. I did wrong by telling him because that she treated me badly. I thought her husband should know how she behaves like that because he is a reasonable person and can influence her. They are doing everything they can. Forces are trying to turn the situation around and make me feel guilty, but they ran into that. To me, I'm not at all sorry that her husband left her, but they keep repeating that now because of her future child may be the result of my decision growing up without a father. I think it's too much, but they present it that way. And I don't even know what to say about this. The only reason I have them, I haven't blocked their words yet, make me doubt. Although my husband thinks I'm not doing anything wrong. I did it and said they would try talk to your parents and explain to them that it's not my fault, but Carrie's. They should talk to her and support her, not attack me. I don't know how to enter. I don't regret it at all, but judging by their behavior, they don't intend to leave me alone, and I want all this to end. I don't even know why Carrie was like that. It's essential that I not be present at her baby shower. I don't have any answers. So, I did wrong to involve Zalovka's husband joined our argument and told to him how disgusting she is with me got by. Well, write your opinion in comments regarding the author's question. I personally think that the author did the right thing absolutely right, and there is no reason to blame her. And it's very good that she is firm in his position and has almost no doubts that I did the right thing. And the fact that the child will be left without a father, well, yes, that is, of course, it's very bad, but if they don't resolve their relationship somehow, sooner or later it's too late and the child will still be left without father. Because it's obvious that the wife, this guy, doesn't want to sort things out at all conflict with the author. If she tried to apologize, then maybe the conflict would have been resolved somehow. But it turns out that she doesn't want it at all resolve the conflict. But they blame for some reason the author is in this. Well, this is complete nonsense. Let's find out what's going on. Was next. Update 1. Hello. Almost done. Baby shower week. Carrie and Jim, they are getting divorced, and now it's already final decision. It is still public, I didn't comment on this, but he already announced it about this on my social networks. I thought it would happen so quickly, but apparently Jim has already filed statement, and soon they will begin divorce proceedings. As far as I know, it is known that they have been living separately since then, how Jim moved back to his parents. I managed to talk to him, although I didn't think it would be appropriate after everything that happened, because I felt guilty. But after discussing it with my husband, we decided that at least someone from our family should contact him. And my husband and I were the only ones he didn't block. So obviously he left those channels open in case we want to talk to him. I decided to contact him and said that I was sorry that everything was like this, it came out. But it wasn't an apology from my sides. I just expressed sympathy. In general. Despite this, I think he understood that I feel guilty and said that I shouldn't blame myself or reproach myself for their divorce. He had been on the brink for a long time. After much hesitation, I wrote to him and asked, what's going on, because I thought I deserved to receive it 2 answers. And oh yes, I got all the answers, which I was looking for. We called each other when I told him I wanted to know more about what was happening. He thought that I deserved to get answers because I absolutely didn't understand why Carrie didn't wanted me to be at the baby shower. As far as I knew, she only gave one reason why she wanted to see only close people at the celebration, relatives. But at the same time, she invited a lot of people who, as far as I know, they weren't particularly nice to her close. I saw the guest list. I knew that there would be a lot of people there. There weren't. There's no point in me not being among the guests. After all, I didn't have no conflicts with these people. And, as far as I knew, there was nothing against me. And that Jim told me that the real reason, which she didn't want to see me, was that she was expecting my friend, whom I really wanted make an impression. This friend of hers married a man from a very rich family, families of industrialists. And now, when Carrie planned to open her own business, a couple of months after birth child, she wanted the husband of this girlfriend invested in her business. She did everything possible to impress this woman. And to do this, she had a baby shower at my house, and I was going to tell everyone that this was her house. Naturally, she couldn't do it. It would be like if I were around, and that's why I wanted to not be there. But I didn't. Agreed to leave. And she didn't expect it. However, fortunately, her friend in that same day, she fell ill and couldn't come for the holiday. But that doesn't change the fact that Carrie tried to get in cunningly. When they returned home, he asked her what the hell she had done. Carrie admitted that she wanted me to. I wasn't at the party because I wanted to impress your girlfriend and pretend it was her house. She led myself as if it were completely normal. Pretend to live a different life. Just to impress someone with whom I used to go to school. JM said her that she can't behave like that and that she should apologize to me because that I showed generosity. And she humiliated me. But she refused. Admit that I did wrong and a quarrel started between them. They already There have been problems for a long time because of this pretense life. And according to Jim, it wasn't the first time she was caught attempts to pretend to be the person you are she is not. From what I told Jim, I realized that you have such problems they have been for the last couple of years. Soon after the wedding, something happened to her, and since then she started trying to live directly and show everyone that they rich and led a luxurious life in order to impress random people. Apparently, some of her friends did strange things, comments regarding its organization, weddings, and apparently this really appeals to her. It hurt, but she's a grown woman. In the end, she shouldn't be so much worried about such trifles, and I should just stop communicating with these friends. Because they are real friends, don't laugh at your image life and what you can't do for yourself, allow something. Besides, Carrie and Jim don't live at all in poverty. They have an ordinary life. And maybe they can't afford to live on a grand scale. But, in my opinion, they have everything pretty good. Jim is an agent for real estate. Akri is currently working in marketing farm, but plans start your own business after birth child. All the more reason for her to save up money, not spend it. Their life comfortable, but not rich. And that's it, it's completely normal. I don't think so. This should concern someone at all, and certainly moreover, Kerry doesn't need anyone. Impress. Jim tried to explain to her all this many times, but for her his words meant nothing, and she continued to do weird things to produce impression on others. Because of this, they have had a lot of problems over the past years. Jim always turned a blind eye to it, because he loved her very much. But in recent months, he has been getting worse. It's harder to come to terms with this because now it was necessary to think about the future child. But what if she continues? Spend money like it grows trees? They can't afford it. The lifestyle she wants. Carrie continued to buy things. Not even I consulted with my husband, and he got tired of it. They already fought too often because of things like that. And after the quarrel, after baby Shora, Jim decided that he was no longer can tolerate this and left. He said to me that even if I hadn't called him on that day, with such a development of events in their marriage, he will still sooner or later I would have made this decision. So I don't you should feel guilty for it what I did. I talked about it with husband and he said that although he was sorry that all this is happening to Carrie, he doesn't can say that it is completely. It's unfair. We weren't friends with Jim, but they knew he was good husband for Carrie. And if he decided to leave, that means he thought it all through. Me too. I feel sorry for Carrie because I understand that it's not easy now, especially during pregnancy, but to be honest, I got myself into this. I don't understand. How can a grown woman do this? Worry about what people think about her life is full of empty gossipy friends. She's already over 30. I think it's time for her to leave all these school problems are in the past. I hope they can talk and figure out what to do next. In any case, I'm not going into all this, interfere, and I will try to stay away from keep these people away because I have enough problems of my own. I'm going to block both the Carrie and your own relatives on my husband's side because I think I have something to tell them at the moment. I hope they can settle everything, and maybe a divorce. It may or may not be cancelled. I don't know what they will have it, because even though Jim has already announced the divorce, but when we were talking, he was very upset. I got the impression that he still wants to figure it out and give it to Carrie chance. But she is so stubborn that it's very difficult to do. Perhaps it is controversial opinion, but I think that at least it would be worth trying to sort everything out. Maybe she should see a psychologist. Because that's how you behave at 30, it's not normal. I wish they had everything worked out for the sake of their child. Grow in a family with divorced parents is it's hard, and I wouldn't want that for myself, future niece or nephew. I'll keep you updated, but for now I am just going to stay out of it and hope for the best, and my husband will do also. We'll see you this weekend because he comes home, but not in this time. I don't think he'll be visiting. Parents, I'm just glad that I have more. There's nothing to blame yourself for. Update 2. My husband came back a couple of hours ago, and we talked to him. He told me that he had been in touch with Jim, and they've been talking for the last couple of days. Jim made it clear that if Carrie apologized to him for everything and go to therapy, he is ready to give their marriage second chance. Now my husband is trying to convey this to my sister, but not yet received an answer from her. And his parents told him she was just avoiding communication with someone because she's upset and needs to be alone. So apparently, everyone gives her now the necessary space. I don't know. What decision will she make? But I hope that it will be wise. As for last post, people here called me selfish because, according to them in my opinion, my husband and I were greedy and not help Jim and Carey. First of all, I don't know how many of you came to this conclusion, but let me clarify. We bought this house at a good price. That's why we were able to acquire it. If it was beyond our means, we wouldn't have bought this house. Secondly, Jim and Carey is quite financially stable situation, and I don't think they would like it if we treated them as if they need our charity. Also, my husband and I'm in about the same financial situation position, just like them. So don't I understand why they need our help, or on the contrary. It's just weird, but since some of you brought this up, I thought it necessary to explain the situation. Some of you didn't like it either. What I said is that I want them to mate up and we're together because you think Jim deserves better. That may be true, but in the end, the choice is his. I don't understand why. Many of you want to pour out your thoughts here, your hatred, call me different words and call Jim a wimp, even without knowing what kind of person he is. They love each other, despite all the problems. They will have a child together. I think it's pretty serious. They can't just leave each other and move on, given the circumstances. So yes, I wanted and still want them to have everything worked out. I think that's all I have. I wanted to say at the moment. Update 3. Hello. It's gone. It's been almost 3 weeks since I've been here, I wrote. I just wanted to say that Jim and Carey decided to make peace and try to fix everything. I'm very much for them. I'm glad. Although Carey and I still haven't talked. But I found out from my husband that they decided to go to family therapy a couple of months and see how it goes affairs. They will still live separately, and when the baby is born, they will be together, take care of him for the first few months, and if everything goes well, they'll get back together. I'm happy for them. I know, that's not what many of you wanted. Most people actually wanted it to be Jim left Carey. But he will do what he considers right for himself, and everyone else will have to deal with this, come to terms with it. Well, that's all. You see how it all is. It's over. They decided not to do it yet, to separate completely. And I think, to be honest, that's right. Still for some time they lived together and even decided to conceive their own child. So, most likely, it's not all that bad. It was bad. I really hope that the guy will still be able to influence his wife and she will come to her senses a little. At least it won't be that bad anymore. Try hard to pull the wool over people's eyes to my girlfriends. Moreover, over the years a person becomes wiser. But, of course, if such education has already been achieved, then the foundation has already been laid. And it's not a fact that she will change a lot. But I hope my husband won't be there after all, won't bend and will remain with her. But still they will have normal one's relationship. A relationship in which the husband is also will decide something. His wife has an opinion, will rely on. That which, probably, each of us strives for the proverbial healthy relationship. Well, thank you for listening to this story before end. Watch our previous video, which you will see here. Also be sure to subscribe to our channel if for some reason you haven't done this yet. And good luck to you.